Testing. So let's talk a bit about concepts, basic concepts that I think you need in order to be able to pull off a good looking drawing, a drawing that you like. Let's take an example. For example, if you were to check out you've probably seen this on my socials, on my Instagram, where I usually put my drawings. This drawing here, it has a lot of errors. It has a lot of perspective errors. Not a lot, just a few. But the entire drawing was done, first of all, without using the pencil, and done more or less the construction as I went along. I didn't have the full idea of the drawing, of what it was going to be when I started it. The only solid idea that I had was this character here, which I wanted to have. I wanted to also push myself a bit with the expressions, but I wanted to draw the character here looking as if she was very happy with the food, because it's the feeling that I had when I visited this restaurant back in Kyoto. So I wanted this character here in particular, and I also wanted to have a male person, a male character here on the left side, more on a what's it called? On a more aggressive perspective, closer to the page, closer to the edge of the page, closer to the viewer. I wanted to have the person closer to the viewer. And I wanted to draw, like I said before, a male character. This is because I do think that I rely quite a lot in drawing female characters. So I also wanted to add that to bring a bit of a different flavor to the drawing, different from what I usually do. So these two characters were very much, I wanted to have them in the drawing, and I also wanted to have this character here, which is one of the waitresses at the restaurant. This is a real person that I drew. And for the set here that you see, especially with the dishes and everything, of course I didn't memorize this whole thing when I was there. I was just enjoying the food. So I took a bit of some photos of the restaurant, of the tables, of what is it that they had, and particularly this piece here, which is the kitchen, which sits very predominantly in the restaurant. It's where the cooks, of course, cook the meals. And then as I drew the piece, as I went along, I added more and more characters. If you see the video where I draw the drawing, even though I wanted these three characters first, I didn't feel comfortable starting with these two because they were closer to the screen, right? I wanted first to have an anchor point for my drawing. This character here serves as the anchor point. It sits neatly in the middle of the drawing, and then from there I can expand into the other pieces of the drawing. It serves as a reference for the height of everything, and then the table where she's sitting also serves as a reference point for everything else that I'm drawing. So this was the plan here. And now you might be thinking, okay, cool story. How is it that I draw this? Tell me, how can I draw this? Let's start first with the basics. I think it's important to start with the basics. And when starting with the basics, one of the main things that when I teach, which is, I rarely teach, but and also I'm taught, but I rarely teach. But whenever I teach, I do say, of course, it's important to focus on the basics, on the fundamentals, everything that you hear on the websites and all that. It's very important to focus on everything like that. At the same time, I do feel that if you focus too much on the fundamentals, you might not necessarily be having a whole lot of fun with drawing, right? So my main tip when first starting or I want to draw is, and apologies for the cat hair, my main recommendation first is to number one, have fun, right? And what is it that I mean by have fun? It should be self-explanatory, of course. What I'm saying here is that you should draw not just the fundamentals, but you should also draw things that you enjoy. You should be on the lookout for, subjects, themes that you enjoy drawing, and not just focus on drawing a whole lot of boxes and everything. These are cool to have, these are cool to do, right? The boxes and everything, and we will get to the boxes in a bit. But before this, you should draw because number one, you're having fun with it. You're doing it for yourself, hopefully, right? In the beginning, when we start to draw, usually it's because we like it. We don't have yet a financial commitment. So I think you should first focus on have fun. And then, of course, you can focus on the fundamentals. So for example, in my case, I enjoy, you probably saw this, I enjoy drawing slice of life scenes. I think I spoke about this a while, but I'm not the biggest fan of doing fan art. You'll rarely see fan art on my feed, on my social media where I post my drawings. It's 99.9% of what is it that I draw is slice of life scenes. It is what I enjoy drawing, not too exaggerated, fun scenes, more serious scenes, more contemplating scenes, but all in all, still very much rooted in reality. That's what I enjoy drawing. And you should find out what is it that you enjoy doing. What is it that you enjoy drawing? Why I also put have fun first is that depending on how much time, right? Time is very important. Time is very important. Depending on how much time you have, you might be able to focus a lot of time in the fundamentals and get really good at, cranking the boxes, the triangles and everything. You will probably get very good at that. If you have a lot of time and you are able to, commit that time into the fundamentals, the perspective, the boxes, everything. But if your time is limited, you really want to focus on having fun with drawing. If it's not your main job, if it's not your occupation to draw, and if potentially you are not necessarily looking into having it as an occupation, the most important thing is to have fun. For me, drawing is, at the end of the day, is a way to release stress. It's something that I enjoy doing. It's very relaxing for me. I enjoy the challenge. That's why I draw to have fun, to de-stress. And because my time is limited, and of course, if you have a lot of time, you are able to focus on the fundamentals. But if your time is limited, really focus on the having fun aspect. And if you are able to squeeze in a few minutes of time here and there into the fundamentals, of course, That always helps, but really just have fun. Do you enjoy drawing fan art? Do you enjoy drawing scenery? Do you enjoy drawing people? If you are into this, if you are listening to this, you probably are more inclined to drawing people. That's my style. That's probably why you are here for. But if you enjoy drawing scenery, buildings, whatever, if that's what you like doing, then you should focus on that. You will excel at something that you like. For my second point, before we even reach the fundamentals, is number 2. This is a 2. Number 2 is pick a medium. You enjoy. Pick a medium you enjoy. This is also important. This plays into the have fun aspect of it. Do you enjoy brush pens? Then if you really enjoy it, then probably focus on that. Do you enjoy pencil? Well, you should focus on pencil. Do you enjoy digital? I'm probably not the right person to give you advice, but if you enjoy digital, you should do digital. Do you like watercolor? That's great. I also like it. You should do watercolor. That's very cool. Do you prefer oil? Very much not the correct course, but if you enjoy oil, that's great as well. So pick a medium that you enjoy. Here we will be focusing, of course, on brush pens, brushes in general, pens, brushes without the pen without the brushes, and fine liners. So we're going to be using this, but pick a medium that you enjoy using for you to have fun. So those are my 2 pro tips. You probably heard them before, so I'm not necessarily adding anything new to the conversation here. Number 3. And now we are getting into more the, okay, Marcio, but I want to learn from how you do things, how you approach things. So for number 3, this is more of a tip related to sketching, to drawing in general. This is a very famous tip, but I do think it should be emphasized more. It's a very important tip. If you want to do something similar to my style, my tip would be try to avoid doing, so the tip is no chicken, scratching. So 1, 2, 3, have fun, pick a medium you enjoy, no chicken scratching. What is chicken scratching? Chicken scratching is when, so let's say I'm trying to draw a box. Please focus on my lines. If you notice carefully at my line work, it is a smooth line work. Chicken scratching is when your lines are jagged. So let's say I want to draw a box, but I'm very accustomed to drawing with chicken scratching. Chicken scratching is your lines are jagged. Unintentionally so, because it's very important to be able to distinguish when is it that the chicken scratching is done because the person doesn't have experience with drawing, and when is it that it's because it's intentional, that it's for to achieve a certain look, to achieve a certain feel, that the person is doing chicken scratching. This is very important to distinguish. And maybe it's easier with a black pen to showcase, but yeah. So I'm trying to draw some curves and I'm doing the chicken scratching, while perhaps with no chicken scratching is a bit more fluid. But again, chicken scratching can be used to draw texture, right? So this is actually more cross-hatching than chicken scratching. But ideally, your hand should be able to do a smooth motion. And some people use mostly the wrist. Me, it's a mixture of my wrist and my forearm when I'm doing the movement. My thumb as well is able to do it. So my recommendation is for you to practice drawing. It can be straight lines until you have the confidence. Straight lines, multiple angles. You start to gain the confidence in drawing lines that are clear, crispy clear. This will help you in your journey as you clean up your lines. And once you clean up your lines, you can then choose what is it that you can, if you want to use chicken scratching as a way to add texture, character, or feel to a drawing. So one thing that I want to emphasize is that the no is too restrictive. It's more like use chicken scratching when you want to, not because you are inexperienced in drawing, right? Because it can be used as a tool to gain character, tone to a drawing. But again, like I said before, it's very much the hallmark of a beginner, the fact that the lines are very jagged and very crooked. Let's continue on with where's my pen? Where's my pen? By the way, I do apologize, I'm a bit sneezy today, so not the best time to record a movie or training. But let's go with number 4. Number 4. Number 4, I would say be consistent. But I think that goes that goes without said, right? Without being said, you need to put in the hours. So I'm not going to lose a slot, number 4, with, you need to practice. Of course you need to practice. Of course. It just makes sense. You need to spend a lot of time to be able to draw well. I don't believe so much on the idea of talent. Some people are more inclined to drawing, sure, but it doesn't mean that they can simply just draw without spending some time practicing. So I'm not going to spend a slot there. What I'm going to spend a slot on 4 is fundamentals. Fundamentals. Right, fundamentals. And before I will talk about fundamentals in detail in a bit, I will just quickly go over number 5, which then also goes directly into what people might be looking for into a course, into lessons by me, is get a good book. Get a good book. Get a good book. Getting a good book means getting a book that you can reliably use for your reference, for your training, for your needs. This is very important to get a good book. You see the online it's very easy to see the common suspects suggested. A couple of them I do have with me. So Bridgman always is referred if you want to learn anatomy. So this one is referred a lot, and also everyone just refers to this one. This is the meme, Figure Drawing for All It's Worth by Andrew Loomis. Are these good books? I think they are good books, definitely for the knowledge that they have and how, especially how old they are. Not that a book is good because it's old, but simply because you do have to respect at the time when this was created. However, I don't really recommend these books. I don't recommend Andrew Loomis, and I don't recommend Bridgman. And the reason being that for Bridgman in particular, for my style in particular, and even Loomis up to a point, I think they are very focused on learning how to draw very muscled individuals, both male and female, very incredibly proportional, very tall people. So for example, Bridgman, right? So the ends are fine, even though for the hands, well, what is this? These are like incredibly thick hands, and my hands, they are very, for example, they are very tiny. There's this mass here. What is this? I wish I had such vigorous biceps as in this image. The face as well, all the features are incredibly pronounced. I do have more Bridgman books with me, but yeah, everyone is just incredibly muscular. I don't particularly enjoy the style. It's good. These are actually more, they are better as anatomy books, because they go into details on what is the muscle, what is it that they do, does it rotate, does it extend, does it contract, and it's all very good and fine. But well, I don't think you necessarily need to know what each muscle group does to be able to draw it. If this is your style, of course I do recommend that you then pursue this. For my style in particular, it's not necessarily very useful. I don't particularly enjoy drawing incredibly muscled individuals. I mean, check out this forearm. Probably can break a tree in half. Deltoids as well. So the deltoids are super pronounced. Of course, it's missing the fat layer that would soften the features. But yeah, it's just a very muscled style, very thick. I don't particularly enjoy drawing. It's very blocky as well sometimes. But one thing that I want to highlight is that everyone, or almost everyone, when it comes time to draw the body, we kinda all use the same box method in a way, and I'll get into detail on that. You can see here that the Bridgman uses what is essentially a two-box method for the body, though it does extend quite a lot the hips, but it works for him, and clearly it's a very dynamic style of drawing that also has that going for him. Yeah, 2024, here I am roasting Bridgman, but it is what it is. But if you like drawing this style, a very angular, yeah, definitely check out Bridgman if that's what you want to do. For me, I have the books, I have read them. Not that, for me, I didn't find it very useful. I do have to be honest here. I should probably say something like, oh, this is my opinion. Of course this is my opinion. Andrew Loomis, the meme book. By meme is that whenever everyone asks, oh, how should I learn how to draw? It's usually this book and Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. I also have that one. I never read that one. But I did check Figure Drawing for all it's worth. It's very nice as well, very nice book. A bit more, I think, a bit more useful than Bridgman. But I think it falls into the same pitfalls as Bridgman, in that the individuals drawn here are very, not so much, but they are still very proportional, very perfect body individuals. You know, I don't want to say bodybuilder, but you know, the person here has a very chiseled body, very nice looking, which, again, if that's what you are looking for in your drawing, definitely. But not everyone, for my style, like I said before, for my style of slice of life drawing, not everyone looks like this. Not everyone is 1.80 m, not everyone is super tall. Yeah. But he draws nice. He draws very nice. So I mean, there's a reason why he's famous, right? He draws very nice. And the initial part of the book goes into you know, proportions and everything. You know, it divides the body into 8 phases. I think it's here in the beginning, if I recall correctly. I think it's 8 heads. That's also a way of measuring. Yeah, I think it's 8. Yeah, you see here. Not sure if the camera can capture this. So you have here 8. Yeah, just change the camera a bit, and you can see here 8. So it essentially takes the head and divides into 2, which is another way of looking at things. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. But super nice books, and they look good in your collection. I do enjoy collecting these books as well. So they're not bad to have, but they are not, definitely far from being my favorites for practicing anatomy. I mean, for example, this one. the head is very stylized. I didn't particularly enjoy this style. For me, it doesn't work. Who has toes like this, right? I get it that it's without the fat, but still. Books that I enjoy. So I'm just gonna suggest one book, because my recommendation is that first you try to, like I said before, have fun, pick a medium that you enjoy. These are the most important, and then for the book, try to find artists that you enjoy. You either enjoy their style, you enjoy what they do, you enjoy the style of drawing. And enjoying the style of work is very important, because it plays into the have fun and pick a medium that you enjoy. If you have artists that you look up to, that you enjoy their work, I fully recommend that you get their book for studying, to learning how to, you know, how they approach, how they draw things, how they approach a problem, and you will have fun by doing that, because it's something that you like, it's an artist that you enjoy, and then you can not easily, but you can look at their completed work, and maybe the artist will have in their book a small section on how they did a specific drawing, and you can try and reverse engineer what is it that they've done to arrive at that drawing. That's also important, the reverse engineering part, in that you as you get better, you are able to, from a finished piece, understand how the piece got to that state, how the artist solved the problem at hand, the drawing that he or she was trying to do. That's very fun as well. And so that's the first tip. Into the get a good book. First, try to get the books of the artists that you enjoy. Follow them, if they have social media. Maybe nowadays everyone just puts, reels or TikToks or whatever, how they do a drawing. Myself as well. Of course, plug here. If you enjoy my stuff, you can always get my book. Collection of drawings from 2019 to 2022. So if you enjoy, I don't have a guide there in my book, but you can see the finished drawing and you can try and copy it. There's no shame in copying for improvement. I copied a lot as well. That's part of how you learn. But yeah, for anatomy, let me recommend the book Stonehouse Anatomy. So this is the book by Jonghyun Seok, also known as Stonehouse on Instagram. It's a very thick book. Try to get, I think it's translated in a couple of languages. Get it in the language that you are comfortable with. This is the English translation. It's a very dense technical book. I don't think that you need to, far from it, to memorize every single. Please don't do it. But it has these very interesting illustrations on the body that you can study. But again, I don't think you really need to memorize every single muscle part, muscle component. But it provides instructions and guides on how to approach different pieces, especially the later part of the book, where it goes into the individual members and most importantly into the complete body part. So this is the part where you actually see how the leg is drawn, for example. You have the construction of the muscles, but again, you don't need to memorize the muscles, and then you have the completed piece here, and a lot of completed pieces at the end. This is the important part as well, skeleton of the entire body. So this is how this person here, the artist, solves, approaches drawing the skeleton. Everyone does it a bit different. Which is also the fun in it. Probably you might find the way that works for you best. I think that's also very important. Yeah, these are very cool, of course. So this would be my recommendation as a book. I'm not sure the current price of it. It is because it is a very thick book. It's not necessarily the cheapest one, but I think it works very nicely. That would be my recommendation for a book.